Hello, and hopefully you're doing well, and hopefully you've been doing lots of doodles. And if you have been doodling, what have you been making? Anything new? Anything different? Do you ever feel like sometimes you're drawing the same thing over and over again? I get that feeling sometimes. I feel like I've drawn the same doodle every day for a month, over and over. But I just got done eating. I made myself some white rice, and then I steamed some carrots, and then I took some ground turkey and I put that into a pot, and I cooked that up, and then I added the ground turkey in with the rice with some sea salt, a little bit of rosemary, and then I added a little bit of cayenne pepper just to make it a little bit spicy, but not that much. And then I drank some water, and here I am. So, yeah. And this doodle I'm drawing with the 0.35 isograph. And I'm also adding in sometimes the 0.18 isograph in this doodle. And as you can see, I'm drawing my usual abstract rocks and cliffs and all that stuff, but I'm also adding in some buildings. This is just very simple architecture. It's not anything detailed. But I do want to do some drawings of more detailed buildings and architecture. Maybe practice that a little bit so I can get better at drawing buildings. But I didn't really spend much time working on this drawing. I just was doodling aimlessly with not really much of any goal in mind. But tell me, what have you been up to? What have you been drawing? Drawing anything new? Have you been using any different mediums, or have you been drawing with mostly the same thing? I think I probably spend 99% of my time doing ink drawings, and out of the ink drawings I probably spend 98% of that time drawing with the Rotring Isograph. But I do a lot of drawings. I'm doing 10 drawings a day probably. So I would say maybe 1 out of every 50 drawings I'll do a drawing with a ballpoint pen or a gel pen or something else. And then, it's actually probably maybe 95% of the time I draw with a Rotring Isograph, and then 4.5% of the time I'm drawing with a fountain pen, and then the other 0.5% of the time I'm drawing with a whatever else. But yes, mathematically, that's probably about how much drawing I do with this pen. And I like drawing with it because of the really smooth drawing experience. It's smooth, but also very tactile in that the wired nib, as it goes across the paper, you can feel it like when you're drawing, but it's smooth at the same time. It was a strange experience the first time I started drawing with this pen over 2 years ago. And ever since I've had this pen, I've just been doing drawings and drawings. I can draw things very detailed very quickly with it. And the best papers so far that I've used is the Moleskine sketchbook, and then some very smooth Bristol paper, and then Borden and Riley paper that is really smooth. Those 3 are the ones that have worked best for me. And I think that the Moleskine sketchbook is the one that has, I would say, for price and the amount of pages that you get, probably the cheapest. You can get these in 3 packs, and each sketchbook has 80 pages. And it's you probably pay $12 to $15 for 240 pages of this paper, because they come in 3 packs, and that's quite a bit of doodles for that price. And this pen works really good in Moleskine sketchbooks, but the one that I'm actually drawing in right now is a Fabriano sketchbook. It's pretty smooth, but it didn't feel as smooth as a Moleskine sketchbook, and this paper is a little bit dotted. But it works fine. I try to draw on cardstock paper that's very smooth. But then when I draw on it, it didn't seem that smooth. Like, I feel, I can't draw with the 0.18 on the cardstock paper. It seems to catch a little bit. And so I would prefer to just draw in Moleskine or really smooth, so that I can switch back and forth between a 0.35 and a 0.18 Rotring Isograph. But anyways, I've rambled on enough about that, about the pen. I think, obviously I talk about it a lot because I draw with it all day. But I do have a lot of sketchbooks, and I want to get them all filled. And when I get this one done, I will be doing a flip through of it. But I still have quite a ways. As I look at it right now, I may be, let's see here, 30% of the way through this sketchbook. I've got quite a bit more left to do in this one. Yeah, there's still quite a few pages. Probably another, well, it's 90 pages in this, so I've done probably 30. So I've probably got about 30 more pages until this is complete. So, the doodle doesn't seem like it ever really takes that long until you actually have been working on it for an hour or two. Then, I don't know. There are other times I do a drawing for 8 hours and it goes by quickly. But anyways, tell me a bit about what you've been drawing and anything else that, any of the other doodles that you've been using, or any of the pens you've been drawing with. But for now, thank you for stopping by, and I'm going to go do more doodling. And hopefully, I'll see you all later in the next video. You have a good day. Later.